Okay, grade 11s. Let's look at this question paper, guys. This is what we're going to work on. Um, okay, so look at what we are given on question 1. We're going to solve for x, and I'll take this step by step. Okay, Okay, so let's look at the first question, guys. Look at what you have on the first question. Uh, You are given x squared is equals to minus 4x. And look at the mark allocation, 3 marks. So what you need to ask yourself, is this equation in standard form? No, it is not in standard form. So we're going to work on that and we'll take this step by step. Okay, so remember, this is what I have on 1.1.1. So we are given, okay, let me quickly just Okay, so we are given x squared, and this is equals to negative 4x. So if you still remember the standard form of a quadratic equation, any form, it should be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, it's equal to 0. So we need to equate everything to 0. So meaning that we need to move the 4x to the other side and it will change the sign. And now we have x squared plus 4x, and this is equals to 0. I hope you understand on that. So what's next? We are solving for x, and can we factorize this? Yes, we can take out the common factor as x. So I'm going to take out the common factor, and this will be left as what I have now. This is x plus 4, and I'm going to equate this to 0. So now I can use the zero product property. If you still remember, the zero product property, it's like saying when you have two terms, you are multiplying two terms that are equated to 0. You can take the first term, equate that to 0, or you can take the second factor, equate it to 0. So x is 0 or x will be negative 4. Let's talk about the mark allocation. How are we going to get the 3 marks? So by putting this in standard form, by putting this in that form, there's a mark for that. You'll definitely get a mark for putting it in standard form. Very important. Next, the factors. There's a mark for getting the correct factors. And the last mark, if this is right and this is right, will definitely get you 1 mark. So this 1 mark is for both x values. Very important that you get your both x values correct. Right, let's move to the next question. This one I always like to tell my students that each and every time when they see the weight correct to 2 decimal place, this weight is just telling you to use the quadratic equation. X is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4ac, and everything is divided by 2a. So when you see that equation, just know that this is quadratic. You don't have to stress about that. So let's rewrite the equation and solve this problem. Okay. On this one, this will be my 1.1.2. So on 1.1.2, I'm given the equation is given as x squared. Then we add x minus 1, and this is equal to 0. So this is in the correct form. The value of a, you just have to know what is the value of a. The value of a here is 1 because it's the coefficient of x squared. Whatever number that we have in front of x squared, that's the value of a. The value of b, okay, let me write this like this so that we can have much space. We are saying that the value of a, that's 1. The value of b is the coefficient of x, which is also 1. And the value of c, that's negative 1. Then you're going to write your quadratic equation down. X is equal to minus b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4ac. And everything is divided by what? 2a. You just have to sub in your values correctly. So this is minus inside the bracket. I have b, which is 1, plus or minus the root of b, b squared minus 4 into a into c, then divide this by the value of 2 into a, which is 1. Therefore, if I work out this will be minus 1 plus or minus the root of, inside the bracket, it's 1 squared plus 4, which is 5. The negative cancels there, and this will give us 5. You can also use your calculator. You are more than welcome to verify that using a calculator. Everything is divided by 2. Then let's work on how we need to punch this on the calculator. I think that one is also important, that you know how to use your calculator. Okay. Okay, so this is my calculator. I'm just gonna try and move this guy this side. Let's see. See. Okay. Okay. Let's just put in the values. So it's minus 1, because I need you guys to train how to do this. So I'll start with minus 1, then plus the root of 5, and everything is divided by 2, right? So this is just, when I punch SD, this gives me 0.62. Guys, please round your answer correctly. Né? So this will be x, it's equals to 0.62, or we need to find the other x value. The other x value, we change the sign there from positive to negative. So this sign now changes from positive to negative. So the other answer, it's negative 1.62 if you round it off. And that's it for this one. Okay. Okay, so this will be x, it's equal to negative 1.62. I hope you guys understand that one. My people, if you guys look at the mark allocation, because this is 3 marks, let me explain something, because remember, sometimes we are not struggling with this thing. The issue is that we don't follow all the protocols. Maybe I should just say like that. So now make sure that all protocols are reserved when you solve those questions. So now when I look at this, guys, the substitution is like, it's very, very important. There's a mark for the correct substitution. So if you make mistake, maybe you forget the negative, it's wrong. You won't get that mark. Then you'll get 1 mark for this one, 1 mark for the other one. So the reason that this one was only 1 mark for both of them is because this was an easy one. But to find this one, you need to change the sign on that formula. So this is how you collect the 3 marks. I hope you guys are happy with that. Without wasting time, let's move to the next question. Okay, so the next one, 1.1.3. So on 1.1.3, this has to do with sets. I know that this looks like complicated. Even if you look at the mark allocation, we can see from the mark allocation that this is something else. But let's make this simple, okay? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to isolate the one with the negative and put it to the other side, the fraction, that fraction with the negative, and put it to the other side, and then square both sides. Why am I squaring? My aim is to get rid of that square root. So each and every time when you solve for x and you see the square root, you should make sure that you get rid of the square root. Okay, this will be my 1.1.3, and it's given like this: the root of x plus 4, and then we subtract 4 over the root of x minus 2. So this is equal to 0. First thing first, I need to isolate the one with the negative put it to the other side and say this is equals to 4 over the root of x minus 2. Why? The aim is to get rid of the square root. So I can now square both sides. Square that and square that. So this side, the square root will cancel. I'll be left with x plus 4. And on the other side, I need to say that, if you still remember, we're going to say if I have A over B, and this is squared, the answer to that, it should be A squared over B squared. That's what we need to apply on that. So we're going to square the both the bottom and top. Yes. So this will be 4 squared over the root of x minus 2, which is also squared. Then when I look at this, the square root do what? The square root will cancel this side. So therefore, I'll have x plus 4. It's equal to 16 over x minus 2, because the square root cancels. So now we need to get rid of the fraction. We can say we can cross multiply, because everything here is over 1. So I can take the x plus 4, multiply that with the x minus 2. You cross multiply. Then you take the 16, you multiply that with 1, because we need to work with a linear equation. Not linear equation, but not fractions, guys. Let me not say linear, because this is quadratic. But you understand what I'm trying to say. So therefore, when we multiply out the bracket, this will be x squared and then minus 2x. So first thing first, I multiply the second bracket by x first. Okay, then when I'm done, I will have to multiply that x minus 2 by 4, everything inside that bracket by 4, which gives us plus 4x, then minus 8. Okay, it's 4 times 2, that's minus 8. And then everything is equal to 16. So can we move the 16 to the other side? So I'm going to move the 16 to the other side. This will give me x squared minus, or that will be minus 2x plus 4. That's positive 2x. Therefore, the 16 goes to the other side, it becomes negative, which will give us negative 24. And this is 0. Can we factorize this? Yes, we can factorize that. So x on both sides. Then the factors of 24, that when you add or subtract them, they give you a middle term of that 2. It's 6 and 4. So the factors of 24, that when you subtract or add them, they give you the middle term of 2. It's 6 and 4. Then you take the sign of the middle number, you give it the bigger number, because if the 24 is negative, one bracket should be positive, the other bracket should be negative. Therefore, when you solve, x will be negative 6, or x will be minus 4. So when you get to this has to do with sets, right? You need to check your answer. This is how you check. You go back to your original equation, right? You have to go back to the original equation. First thing, you need to test for minus 6. Where there's x, you put minus 6, and you can do that using your calculator. So it's easy when you use your calculator. You're going to have root of minus 6. Where there's x, you just put minus 6. Okay? Minus 6. Then we add 4. And then we're going to minus 4 over the root of x minus 2. So this will be x, which is minus 6 minus 2. So I think this will give us something like an error. I don't know. Okay, look at this. We get an error. So this tells you that x must not be equal to 6, because left hand side is not equal to the right hand side. We get an error, right? So I'm going to reject that x is equal to minus 6. Let me try for the other x being, which was 4. So if where there's minus 6, I put 4 this side, what do we get? So this will be 4 plus 4, and this will be 4 minus 2. And this gives us 0. So left hand side is equal to right hand side. So you can see what is going on here. We need to reject. Therefore, x must not be equal to that -6. You reject. I hope you guys understand that. So let's talk about the mark allocation. How are they going to give us those marks? So first thing first, you'll definitely get a mark for moving this to the other side, which is an easy thing. So there's a mark for that. And then they'll give you a mark for removing the square root. And then they'll give you a mark for standard form, which is this part. So far you have 3 marks, right? Then the remaining 2 marks will be for factors. And then if you leave your answer in this form, you're not going to get the last mark. But if you reject, then you'll get the final mark. So the final mark goes with the rejection. If you did reject, okay, then I think we made a mistake. This is +4, né? Because the 4 goes to the other side, it becomes positive. I hope you guys are happy with that. And that's it for that one. Let's look at what we have on the next question. Okay, so on this one, this is an inequality question, 1.1.4. I think this is very, very easy because already the question is factorized. So let's go and work on that. Let's solve for x. Okay, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so on the inequality, we are given on this 1.1.4, we are given x plus 2, right? And this is multiplied by -3x plus 1. So they say this is greater than 0. So when it's greater than 0, I'm going to look at, let me look at this. So when it's already factorized, right? I don't want you guys to treat this as an equation. Don't say x plus 2 is equal to 0 or -3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to -2 or x is equals to 1/3. Because when you solve, you'll get 1/3. Instead, you know what I need you to do? Do not, you see this part here. Don't include this part on your answer sheet. Right? Do not show the marker this step, because now you are telling the marker that this is an equation. It's not an equation, it's an inequality. So do not include that part. Instead, you see this one, the x is equals to -2 and the x is 1/3. You can write those as you're going to say my critical values. Okay, then you're going to say critical values x is equal to -2 or x is equals to 1/3. Or you can write them like this. Start with the small one, which is -2, then put the 1/3. I hope you understand that part. So when it's like this, now you can put those critical values on your, number line. So you're going to say, this is where I have -2, and this is where I'm going to put my 1/3. Then this is my number line. Okay, so on the number line, look at this. Look at this. So on the number line, what you're going to do, I'm just going to try and test this and see what type of equation is this one. So, okay, so when I test this, look at this. I'm going to say x times that -3x, which will give me -3x squared. So the value of a is negative. This tells me that my graph will be concave down like this. Right, it will be concave down, because if a is less than 0, your graph will have a set face. We need to convince the marker, show the marker that, you know what, we know these things. So from this point here to that point, then I'm going to choose any number between -2 and 1/3. The best number that you can choose is 0. Choose any number, substitute it on that original equation, tell me what is the answer. So I'm going to put that 0 there. So on the equation where there's x, I'm going to put 0, which is the same as 0 plus 2. 0 plus 2, close the bracket, -3x, we know that will be just 0. So it's -3 into 0. So this will be 0. then we add 1. And then we get an answer 2. So this tells you that whatever number that you put in the middle, it will be positive. So this tells you that the solution between these two numbers is positive. And if between is positive, just know that the other side will be negative and the other side will be negative. So look at what is the question saying. The question is asking you, where is this greater than 0? Where is the solution positive? So it's positive from this point, going in that direction, and positive from this point, going in that direction. Therefore, x must be less than 1 over 3, and x must be greater than negative 2. It's your solution. Or you can just write this in this form and say x must be an element of, then you start with the negative 1, the small one, and then you write the 1 over 3. And x must be an element of real numbers. That's another way to write your solution. So it's up to you which one you prefer, okay? So let's look at the next question. I don't want to waste time. If there's something you don't understand, please try to go back on the lesson, move back and try to make this make sense, or you can just put your comments there and I'll definitely answer you whatever that you want to ask. So when I look at 1.2, it has to do with simultaneous equation, solving for x and y. Look at this simultaneous equation. I'm going to rewrite down the question and let's go and collect that 6 marks. Okay, so I'm just gonna start it here. 1.6. Okay, so on this 1.2 for 6 marks, we are given two equations. Let me quickly go back, and it's 3 minus y plus 2x. 3 minus y plus 2x, this is equal to 0. And then the other equation is 6x plus 4y squared. This is equal to 3 plus 5xy. So this is my equation 1. Okay, let me not name this as equation 1. Let me first create my equation 1, okay? And this is how I'm going to create my equation 1. I need you to pay attention on that. So from the first equation, I can create equation 1 and make y subject of the formula. I'm going to move the y this side to be positive. Therefore, I can write this as y is equals to 2x plus 3. So this is 2x plus 3. And let's call this equation 1. And then let's call this equation 2. I hope you understand that part. Okay, nice. So now what do we do there? We have equation 1, we have equation 2. So we're going to substitute. I'm going to sub in equation 1 into equation 2 because I have y. So this tells you that from equation 2, where there's y, I can put 2x plus 3. So let's rewrite this equation down here, but let's also substitute y. So this will be 6x. I'm going to add this with 4. I see y. I need to substitute that y by 2x plus 3. So most learners forget to say this is squared. That's when you start losing marks. That's the common mistakes. And then plus 3 plus 5. Look at this. I have 5xy. So I'm going to first write the 5x first, then open the bracket. I'm going to substitute that by 2x plus 3. You know, I don't understand why most learners say simultaneous is difficult. What? Look at this. Look at this. By creating equation 1, you have 1 mark already. By the correct substitution, you have another mark. So far, you have 2 marks. You need to work for that 4 marks. Right. And if the substitution is correct, there's no way you're going to get this wrong. So another mistake is multiplying out of the brackets. Let's work on this. So this is the same as 6x plus 4. Look at this. I need to first expand my bracket. Write this as 2x plus 3 and then 2x plus 3. So this is equals to 3 plus 5x into 2x plus 3. The next step, we're going to multiply out the brackets. Okay, let's multiply out the brackets. This is 6x. I still have the 4. Then I'm going to say 2x times 2x. That will give me 4x squared. And then 2x times 3, that's 6x. Another 2x times 3, that's 6x, which gives us the like terms of 12x. Please pause the video, verify what I'm trying to do here. Do your own FOIL method and see what you get is the same as mine. And then we have 3 plus 3, that's positive 9. Close the bracket. This is equal to 3 plus 5x into 2x plus 3. I'm trying to take this step by step. Now I can multiply all the brackets. So this will be 6x. 4 times 4, that's 16x squared. And then 4 times 12, that's 48x. Then 4 times 9, that's 36. And then this is equal to 3 plus 10x squared. And then multiply 5x times 3, that's 15. 15x. Wow, this is good, right? I'm going to look at my like terms now. Let me quickly highlight the like terms there and see what we have. Look at this. This guy, it's a like term to that 10x squared. So I need to group the two. I need to write this as 16x squared. The 10 comes this side to be negative 10x squared. Okay, let's go and look at other like terms. Look at this. The 6x with the 48x and with the 15x. So this will be plus 6x. Then I add 48x. Then the 15 is on the other side. When it comes this side, it's negative 15x. Wow, I know you guys are you understand what's going on here now. Then I have the 38, the 36 with the 3. So it's going to be plus 36. The 3 is on the other side. When it comes this side, it's negative. Let's equate everything to 0. So now when I have this, when I have something like this, I can just go and add the like terms and see what I get. Okay, so this will be equals to 16x squared and 10x squared, that's 6x squared. Then 6x plus 48, that's 50. 50, wait, that will be 54. Then we minus 15, 39. So this is going to be plus 39x. Okay, then I'm going to say 33 and minus 3, that's positive 33. Right, and this is equal to what? This is equal to 0. Guys, look at this. I think there's a number that can divide all these numbers, and that number is 3. I just want to confirm first. Let me quickly confirm here. Can 3 divide 6? Yes. But now the question is that can 3 divide 39? Yes, it can divide, which is 13. What about 33? I think it's 11 when you divide that. Okay, nice. So I'm going to divide every term by 3. So this will give me 3x squared, 2x squared. And 39, we said this will be 13x plus 11. This is equal to 0. So when it's like this, it's easy for you to factorize it, right? So when you factorize this, we just divided everything by 3, né? Divide everything by 3. Right. So now this will be 2x and the factors of 11. Look at this. The factors of 11, it's just 11 and 1. So you just have to choose which side do we put 11. Look at this. If I put 11 this side, I'm going to say 2x times 11, that's 22. So 22 is far from 13x. So that won't work. I need to consider putting 1 this side. So 22 is very far from what I'm looking for. I hope you guys understand that part. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that putting the 11 this side won't work, but this side I'll have x, the 11 should come this side because both of these are positive. You see? So when you multiply out the bracket, it will take you back to that 1. Therefore, 2x plus 11, that's 0, or x plus 1, that's 0. You can now solve for x. So 2x is minus 11, therefore x is just negative 11 over 2, or the value of x is minus 1. So what you need to do is to find the value of that y, the corresponding y values. So to find the corresponding y values, remember from equation 1, we said y is equals to 2x plus 3. So where there's x, you're going to say y is equals to 2 into negative 11 over 2. You add 3, or you substitute 2 into minus 1 plus 3. So this side, the 2 cancels. I'm left with minus 11 plus 3, which gives us minus 8. Or minus 2 plus 3, that's positive 1. So, or y is equals to 1. This one is easy, né? How about the mark allocation? So remember, already we had 2 marks, and then they'll give you 1 mark for this standard form. To get to that form, there's a 1 mark, the standard form. And then they'll give you a mark for factoring, and you'll get 1 mark for the both x values and 1 mark for the both y values. That's how you correct the 4 marks. So correct standard form, correct factors, 1 mark for both x values and 1 mark for both y values. Okay. Let me look at the last question of this question 1. This question, it says that you are given 9x squared minus 12px, and they say this is equals to minus 4p squared. Minus 4p squared. Wow. Shall we say this is good or what? Is this a good question or what? So for which values of p will the equation have equal roots? Guys, if the equation has equal root, the discriminant is equal to 0. Remember, the discriminant is equal to b squared minus 4ac. So let me rewrite the equation, then we'll take it from there. Okay, so on that question, which was 1.3, I'm going to rewrite what I'm given, okay? So on this 1.3, I'm given 9x squared minus 12 px, and this was minus 4p squared. I think this is the question. Okay, minus 4p squared. For which values, for equal roots, we said that if they are looking for equal roots, the discriminant should be equals to 0. So before you do the discriminant, you need to take that equation, put it in standard form. Put the equation in standard form, meaning that this will be 9x squared. This will be 9x squared minus 12px, then minus, okay, this will be plus 4p squared. Equate everything to 0. So this is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So the discriminant it's equals to b squared minus 4ac. You need to understand what is the value of a, what is the value of b and c. So a is the coefficient of x squared. Whatever number that you have in front of x squared, that's a. So it will be 9. So the value of a is 9. The value of b is the coefficient of x. Whatever number that you have in front of x, please make sure that you take these numbers with their sign. So it's minus 12p. Most common mistake most learners do, they forget to also include p as the value of b. It's minus 12p, not minus 12 only, but everything that is in front of the x with the sign. The last one, C, is the value that does not have x, which is just 4p squared. Then you substitute on that equation. The discriminant, we set the discriminant is equals to 0. We set the discriminant, it's equal to 0. I'm going to equate this to 0 and substitute. So B, that's minus 12p, and this is squared, minus 4 into A. What is the value of A? 9. And what about C? C is 4p squared. This is equal to 0. When I solve minus 12p, I don't know what is minus 12. I think it's 144. Okay, this will be positive 144. Don't forget to say p squared, okay? So this will be 144 p squared minus, this will be 4 times 9 times 4. Okay, let's see. 4 times 9 times 4 times 9 times 4. That's 144 also. And then what I'm going to do, hey, okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to subtract minus 144 p squared is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 0 because those two are like terms. So when they say for which values of this, since it's 0 is equal to 0, this tells you that all the real values, if you get that your discriminant is 0, just know that it's for all real values. All real values. It will take all real values. Therefore, if it takes all real values, you can write it like this and say P must be an element of real numbers. I hope you understand how we did this. If the discriminant is 0, then P must be an element of real numbers. Okay, so remember, when they're going to give you the mark allocation, they'll give you a mark for understanding that the discriminant is 0. So there's a mark for equating that to 0, and there's a mark for correct substitution, and there's a mark for the conclusion. That's how you collect the, oh, that was 4 marks. That was 4 marks. I don't know where the other mark will go to. I don't know where the other mark will go to. I don't want to lie. I don't know where, because this is an easy thing. They can't mark that. But for the substitution, you'll definitely get that mark. Maybe for moving the P to the other side, putting this in standard form, there's a mark for that. That's how you collect the 4 marks. And that's it for this question. That's it for this question.